what would you say a successful formula is for a breakup, for you to maybe get through the breakup, but also maximize and learn the most from it?
That's a great question. So I don't think we spend enough time in the self-reflection part after a breakup. So I don't think we gathered enough inventory from the partner in the relationship, doing check-ins, right? Like monthly, weekly, quarterly check-ins of like, how can I show up better for you? Once you ask how you can show up better for someone, you then get permission to then tell them how they can show up better for you. But we can't just like give you that first. We need to ask how we can do it first. We're not doing enough of that inventory in the relationship. Then when we get out of the relationship, oftentimes when I ask my clients, like, if I were to ask your ex areas where you could grow, what would your ex have told me? And they're like, they thought I was great. Girl, no, that's not why you're standing in front of me right now. Yeah. So I think that awareness piece of like actually doing some self-reflection. There's an exercise that I have in my growth guide where I make you reach out to family and friends and actually do a SWOT analysis, where it's like your family and friends have to give you feedback on what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, what are opportunities that you can grow as far as relationships are concerned, and then what are the threats if you don't. So like if you don't work on your ego, or if you don't work on your selfishness, or if you don't work on your paranoia or jealousy, this is the worst case scenario of what's going to happen to you if you don't work on this thing. So I think it's like gathering that information and doing the self-reflection. I especially think after a breakup too, you need to, if you want to and are ready to do the healing work, operate from a place of gratitude. Okay, what is everything that this person did that was amazing and awesome that I can say like, I appreciate, and what did I learn from it? And then you also have to do, what are the things that hurt me that I have to learn from? Because I don't think it's enough to just say like, okay, you know, his beautiful blue eyes. And I also like the way that, you know, he, you know, was chivalrous. Like those things are great. What do we learn from it? But what are the things that like areas that he hurt us in that we can learn from as well? Okay, well, when he, you know, cursed at me, what I learned from that was that I need somebody who is able to handle their anger better in those moments, or who puts my needs first, or who's able to be calm and patient in moments of, you know, conflict. Like you have to write at the end of that, what's the thing that you learned from that awesome thing, but also what's the thing that you learned from that horrible thing. And that's going to help with the healing process, because you don't want to bring those things in partnership moving forward, but you're not going to be able to avoid them if you don't point them out and acknowledge them. Right. You're only going to be a magnet for those things happening to you again.
Yeah. How would you say, how important would you say understanding like where that person was operating from, or understanding, I guess, even in a relationship, or understanding that from a breakup as well?
What do you mean?
The person that they are, where they're operating from, maybe as far as like their upbringing or the things that have happened to them, or just, I guess it just comes down to more of a toxic relationship or something like that.
Well, we don't do enough research. So like, when we're in the dating process, like we're falling in love with like the romance of it all, but we're not asking enough questions, one, to build intimacy, to build intimacy, but then also to gather information about whether we are equipped to handle that person and all that they come with. Right. So we're like enamored with how the date experience was, but within the date, he told you that he was abused as a child. And then he also told you that he's cheated on every other girlfriend. And then he's also told you that he, I don't know, the cops have been called on him, but we really had a great time on the date. And he said he's dating with intent. So I'm just going to overlook those things and keep going, you know, and hoping that I'm the one that made him fully change himself. And 9 times out of 10, like that's not the case. We're not listening. We're not paying attention. We're not asking enough questions. And then we're not really measuring whether it's a good fit for us. And then we're also forgetting to check in with self. Do I not only like how he makes me feel, but do I like how I show up when I'm with him? Do I like who I am when I am with this person? Or do I just like how this person makes me feel about myself?
Wow.
And there's a huge difference.
Absolutely.